Good morning. Thanks for joining me on my walk today. I'd like to talk to you for a little bit about trust wounds. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but trust is actually one of the first lessons we learn. We learn it in the cradle. We learn whether or not the big people in our life can be trusted. Not because they sit down with us and verbally explain what trust is all about so that our little baby mind could understand that. We're not into verbal cognitive learning at the time. We're all about the experience of things. It's all about emotional learning when we're very young. And so what we learn is whether our parents are going to be there for us, to comfort us when we're scared, to change us when we're wet, to feed us when we're hungry. This is where we learn trust. And we learn it also by the emotions we experience in that time. Are my parents happy to meet these needs in me? Are they frustrated? Are they angry? Are they loving in the way they are providing for me? All those things contribute to trust. And to the degree those things were not our experience as infants and very young, then our trust is wounded. It could be that you had a parent that was an addict. Addicts just are not present to other people because they're consumed by their addiction. It could be that your parents, their marriage was really troubled and they spent so much time and energy on that a certain level of your own emotional needs were neglected. It might be that you had a parent die, was incarcerated, or had to work out of state, and so that parent just wasn't really there for you. Any number of reasons why we might experience trust wounds, but it launches us into life with a sense of insecurity. We feel like at any turn we might be abandoned in a relationship. We feel very tenuous in every connection we have with others, that we're just always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Or we develop codependent mechanisms in relationship where we twist and contort our personality to become what our love interest wants, because that's the way we guarantee we won't be abandoned in relationship. And we may not associate that with any conscious memory because the learning happened so young. The learning happened when we were babies. The learning happened at an emotional level, not in terms of memories that are stored in our mind. And so what do you do when you find yourself having trust wounds and not having something to a particular issue to have to work through, that I have to work through this particular memory? Well, what you do is you need two things. Number one, you need to understand that experience has to be corrected by experience. The wounds that happen in relationship have to be healed in relationship. And so the two things that God provides for us in terms of healing are, number one, a new sense of family. You know, the Bible says a healthy church is like a family. Older men and older women are like fathers and mothers. Younger men and younger women are like brothers and sisters. So in a healthy church with my new family, I can experience a new sense of parenting, of repairing the damage done in childhood, where I feel like my family is not going to throw me away, that I am loved as I am and for who I am. This is very healing to have those kind of relationships, and the relationship we have with God. This is why it's so vitally important, like I've talked about in some of the other Walking with Pastor Keith videos, to learn to hear the voice of God, to actually have an experience with God, to walk with him, to hear his assurances, to know that he loves and cares for you. Your experience that happened at a very tender age, this emotional learning, has to be corrected with a new kind of emotional learning. It's not simply a couple Bible verses that are going to change that for you. You have to have a new experience with God, and that new experience with God will heal the trust wound. So those are my thoughts for today. There's so much more I could share, but I'm gonna let it go at that. God bless you, and I'll see you again real soon.